Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Faye, and you're listening to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. I've been trying to put the show up on Mixcloud, actually. I don't know if you've been to that site, checked it out or whatever. But, you know, it's a pretty good site. They have a lot of good mixes you can listen to. So I've been trying to put all the IllMuzik stuff, all the music radio stuff on there, like waveforms and all that. So soon I'll be putting up Attack of the Beats. That'll be up next. You know, it's a better player anyway that they have. So it's more fluid. It's better on mobile and everything. So once I get around to finally putting them all up, then it'll be much better streaming of the show for everyone. So be on the lookout for that. All right, so this week we got 5 beats, and we'll start it off right away with Andy with Weed Strains. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Andy with Weed Strains. All right, so I really like this beat. Okay, this is really, really good. You got the nice keys going, the drum track. You know, it's just a nice vibe overall. Nice. It's almost like it's nice, but it's almost like a horror vibe almost with those keys. But the first thing that stood out to me was the snare, because the kick is really nice actually, but I just find that snare doesn't go well with that kick. It's a very it's kind of like an 808 kick or something. An 808 snare, I should say. And so the snare's kind of, it's got that hollow sound, you know how it is anyway. But I think the snare would be sound much nicer if it was like a tight snare, something tight, not too tight, but you know, maybe take the one you have actually, and just layer it with another one that's tight. See what you can come up with that, you know. So just something that just smacks a little more, but a little thicker. And because of the keys, since it's got that nice vibe and nice sound and like that, it's like a reverb thing you got going on there. I think you should add some reverb to that snare. So once you do fix up the snare, add a bit of reverb. That'll blend in really nice with those keys. But like I said, the kick is very nice, so don't worry about that. The bass line, I can hear it just a bit, but I think it should be brought up just slightly in the volume. So just bring it up just slightly, because it's good because it's subtle. It's not like overwhelming the beat or anything like that. So just bring it up a bit. And the other thing was the actual beat itself. I mean, even though it's really, really good, I just think that you should just change it up for those 2 minutes. Just try to have some kind of change up. So you could either take away the drums or something like that, or even just take away the keys and just have like a lo-fi version of those keys or something like that, you know, because let's say you have some rapper on it or something like that, he's going to need space to, you know, to spit on top of that. So you need to take out those keys or something just to change it up, you know, just basically to have a a nice structure. Your chorus, your verse, and all that stuff. So, but it was a nice beat. I like that. I like the keys, very smooth. Like I said, almost like a horror type thing. And that's good, man. That's good. All right. So next up, we've got who we have here. We got Barino with History. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Barino with History. Okay, so now this beat is interesting because you got that sample at the beginning, and it's really dope. Okay, so I was like, oh shit, I'm getting ready to nod my head here. It's gonna be some dope shit. But then when you drop in the drums and you start playing with the sample, you chopped it up and everything like that. That kind of lost me right off the bat. So as I kept listening, I could see what you did with it, which was great because then it was just the beginning part where you did those chops. It just didn't sound good. But then you kept going and you were playing the rest of the sample, right? All those other chops, and that was good. That was perfect, man. Continue doing that. I would say though with the drum track, because you're following those chops and everything like that, I think with the drum track you should just scale it back a bit. Okay, so not the volume or anything like that. Just scale it back, meaning like just keep it simpler. Because a lot of times I'll do something like that where I try to have like a busy drum track or something like that, but then it just gets kind of crazy or whatever. So what I'll do is I'll scale it back, just start from scratch. I'll just do kick, snare all the way through, and then slowly just add in a little part here and there. Because honestly, if you listen to a lot of beats, like a lot of famous songs, even a lot of times you just hear like just kick, snare. I mean, it's just a simple pattern. So you don't really need a busy drum track. Sometimes it's fine, but it has to come across good, So, but because it's because your drum pattern, it's like your whole beat's like a lazy sounding beat. You don't want to. It's not a fast drum track, right? It's everything's just laid back. You don't want to have a busy drum track then. So just keep it simple, And the bass line, I like the bass line, but what's funny is that it's just that. It's not that the volume's a problem. It's just that I think the bass line should just be thicker. Just have some more meat on it. It just needs to be not loud or anything like that. Just heavier. So just add some heaviness to that bass line, and I think that will really stand out. But I think the main thing was the drum track for this beat. And like I said, the beginning when you were doing the first chops, that kind of threw me off. I thought that's what you were doing. I thought you were just continue with that, and I was like, what's he doing? But anyway, but no, that's good. I liked what you did with the rest of the sample. That shit was dope. But like I said, just the drums, I would just scale that shit back and beef up the bass line. So, all right. Okay, so next up we've got Element 43 Music with Membership Revoked. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Element 43 Music with Membership Revoked. All right, so we got an interesting beat here because this is very, very laid back. I mean, I think it's probably the most laid back beat that's been on this show, but it's very smooth. And this is something that, it's one of those beats where I've done this type of shit myself where it's just like it's borderline. Like you're questioning, is it really hip hop? Not to take anything away from your beat, but you know what I mean. It's like it's not like straight up hip hop. It's just a smooth shit. This is something I'd rather hear an MC on top of because, by itself, it's like it could easily sound like some other genre, right? It's not just necessarily hip hop, whatever. But anyway, with this beat, I like your drum track. That's perfect. I wouldn't touch that. And you have that nice synth. Okay, so here's the thing: you get the synth coming in, which is very smooth. It's a little on the heavy side, because as it goes on, it's like I'm listening, so it's a little heavy in the mix, I would say, just slightly, but it's great though. It sounds good. And then when you bring in, I was waiting for some kind of change up. So when you did bring in the change up, that was great because you just didn't keep the drums the same. You brought in the hi-hat and everything, which is great. You sped that shit up, so it gave the beat some life all of a sudden, right? So then you have when you have the keys come in, it sounds good with that synth. So I think you should continue that, but I was really hoping to hear a part where you have just the keys and take that synth part out. Okay, so either take it out or just lower it, really, really, really lower the volume on that. Just have it like sitting in the background while you focus on the keys, because like I said, it's just kind of heavy in the mix a bit, but when you listen to those keys coming in, I was like, it would have been so nice to just hear just that part, because up until that point, the beat's so smooth. Then you bring in the keys, so then again, it's like you're adding that into the mix. So the keys and the synth together, it's a little heavy, But like I said, either bring down the volume of those the synth, or take it out completely at that part, when you bring in the keys. But you could also have, like you did it, do it like that. You can have both parts, So, but it was nice, very, very nice, very smooth beat. Like I said, I'm just, my personal opinion, how I would have changed it up a bit and stuff. But actually, what really stood out for me wasn't so much the keys and the synth; it was the drums. Because when you changed it up, brought in the hi-hat, that really changed the whole atmosphere of the beat. So, but yeah, so give that a try. Why not? And see what happens. All right. So next up, we've got Tom Kills Jerry. We Can't Turn Back. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Tom Kills Jerry with Can't Turn Back. So this was a good beat because at the beginning I was just like, what is this? What's this drum track? What is this? Because the drums, I was like, what the hell? It's like on the kick and the snare by itself going along, with the little synth and all that stuff. It just didn't sound good. I was like, what the hell? But then you brought in the heavy kick and bass line. What was that, 808 or whatever? And then the bass line stuff. So that was good. So now I was like, okay, now we got your beat coming in and stuff. And so you filled out the space nicely. I really like the mix. The mix, for the most part. The thing that bothered me the whole time about the beat, like the beat itself, I think was good because everything sounded good and everything like that, like the way you used your sounds. But I do think if you were to use this, like this is best to be used on its own. Let's say I think if you were to use this with to put the vocals on top, then you'd have to take something out because I just find it's a little too busy. You know what I mean? So. But on its own, I think it'd be great, But if you're, like I said, just if you're adding vocals, I think then it's time to take, like a little synth part out or something. But I don't know. What bothered me about the beat was that it just seemed like there was a few parts, like the snare, for example, and there was like another synth part, whatever. It just seemed kind of. It's hard to put my finger on it. It seemed like it's just kind of hollow sounding in a way. Maybe it's just the way it's sitting in the mix because he had the other synth part that was in stereo and that sounded good, but then the other stuff was pan center and it was just, I don't know, it just kind of like a hollow sound. So like I always say, I don't know what you're using for your mix, what you're using for your recording, or where your sounds are coming from. I don't know, but if you can let me know in the comments, I don't know, because I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying, but it's just, I don't know, it just seems to me like it's just some parts, some of the sounds are just kind of hollow sounding. I don't know. It's weird, so, or maybe it's because it's mono or something and it just doesn't sound right with the stereo parts. I don't know, but I don't know, it just kind of bothered me the whole time I'm listening to it. But no, the beat itself is nice, but like I said, I would just scale back on some of the synth parts, like that main synth part you have coming in, that's stereo. I think maybe just scale that back a bit, especially if you're gonna have some vocals on top and stuff, but you don't have to scale it back. You can leave it as is because it does sound good. So, like I said, it's just weird, that part that bothered me. So, but it's a dope beat, man. I like that shit. All right, so next up we got the last beat. It's Wazir Shah with Hey. Did I get that right? All right, let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Wazir Shah with Hey. I hope I pronounced that right. Just tell me in the comments if it's wrong. I don't know. All right, so this beat, man, it's I like the sample, man. It reminds me of the Halloween soundtrack. The keys with the piano and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. But the thing is, like, it's a dope beat. You got the nice keys that I had to turn it up. I was getting into this shit. You had to turn that up, and then you have the keys, and you got the subtle kick, which is great because it blends in nicely with the low end. The snare is good because you got the hand clap. But the thing that threw me off is the beginning, because when you kept going with the hand claps, like it just kept going, and it's like it just kind of sounded like almost like a dance track for a second there, So that kind of threw me off. So honestly, I would take that part out because the beat itself it's fucking dope. I like it. So. But I would have loved to have heard more, though, like some kind of transition or change up, because you only sent in a minute, so I wanted to hear a longer version, So you got 2 minutes to play with here, so you should do 2 minutes, send it back in or something. But the other thing is, it sounds familiar, this beat. I don't know if you sent it in before or for the beat this competition or something, because I don't know, it just it sounds very familiar. I'm sure I heard this before. But it's a really dope beat. I like it. But like I said, the beginning part, that threw me off with those hand claps. But the beat itself, very nice, very well put together. The problem, though, is I would have loved to have heard more of it because it was only a minute. So I wanted to see what you could do with 2 minutes. You know, what you could do for another minute if you could do some change ups or whatever. But also, I'd love to hear an MC over this shit. You know, that's the type of beat this is. This, you know, you should get together with some kind of rapper to put on top of this, because I think that's what this beat would really be good for. You know, so yeah. All right, so that's it for me. Make sure you send in your beats to be reviewed. Attack of the Beats. Make sure you're already on the site. You know where to go. You know how to do it. And don't forget to promote the show and the website. Go on social media. Tell people about it, and don't forget to post in the comments. Let me know what's up, what's going on, and if you like the show or not, and if you have any questions, whatever. So yeah, I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats, and my favorite beat this week, the winner is, drum roll please, Element 43 Music with Membership Revoked. Let's check it out.